Hello and welcome back to Time Under Tension. I am your host, Olivia Gravengard, professional bodybuilder, registered nurse, and certified health coach. And today we're going to be talking about winter movement. I'm a big fan of returning to the earth when it comes to nutrition and movement and generally organizing our routines accordingly. There's natural changes that happen through the year, and I think that when we kind of try to fight them or override them, at times we undermine our ability to work with them, which would allow us to show up at a higher level. Depending on where you live in the world, for most of us, the winter time is a cooler time. It's a time of shorter days, a lot more darkness, a lot more time inside, maybe forced, maybe chosen, maybe mood dependent. And with that comes some beneficial changes, I think, in the way that we approach our training and nutrition, as long as we allow it ourselves to roll with it. So, what does it look like to winterize your wellness routine? Well, with shorter days and colder days for a lot of us, this may mean shifting our routine around. It may also mean having a little bit more grace and compassion for ourselves, for those of us who struggle with seasonal depression or just general lowness in the winter, with there being a lot more time in the darkness and perhaps less time outside in general due to weather restrictions. I think now is a really fantastic time to start to think about your goals and to evaluate whether or not your daily routine works well for you throughout the winter season. And if you have the freedom and ability to adjust your schedule, if any adjustments are required. So for myself, with the early morning hours being quite dark and quite cold, I personally do like to go for a walk at this time. For some people, that doesn't work because they might not live in an area where it's safe to walk in the dark, maybe due to wild animals or unsavory characters lurking around, or just freezing cold temperatures. So, this would be a good time to ask, do I need to adjust my morning activity? Should I use a piece of cardio equipment that I have at home? Should I implement a YouTube workout in the morning to get some blood flowing and commit to my fitness activities early in the day, but in a way that aligns with the weather? Would it be a time to maybe hop to your apartment gym or your personal gym and do some cardio or do some early morning training? What is going to be most supportive of you right now that isn't just deciding to cut it for the year and wait until New Year's? I'm a huge fan of New Year's. I love setting goals. I love the fresh start that it brings. But in the past couple of years, I've really loved the approach of what's called the winter arc, where you really use your winter time to start to prepare yourself for next year. It's not about waiting for the new year to actually make changes and saying, once the holidays are over, then I'll commit to myself. It's saying, what can I do now? What intentions do I need to set? What habits do I need to start implementing? What things do I need to prune from my life? And what do I want to start fostering in preparation for the year ahead? And I think now at the start of December is a fantastic time to really start your winter arc, to start to ponder, what do you really want for the year ahead? What needs to go? What needs to stay? What do you need to add and implement and foster more of? What do you need to rearrange to continue showing up as your best self and to continue to progress towards your goals consistently? Nutrition wise, depending again on the weather and what you have available locally, now's a great time to really implement more fats, more protein-rich foods. To start, depending on your fitness goals, maybe implementing a little bit more nutrition to help support your body and add on a little bit of mass for the winter in preparation for the cold. Or even just to spend some time growing and building some muscle during these down seasons. preparing in advance to set yourself up with a little bit more lean tissue so that by the spring you can start ramping up activity as naturally happens as the weather changes, and then move into summer with a leaner physique. So now is a great time to start growing and to adjust your nutrition accordingly. This is also a time of the year where there's a lot of illnesses going around. So making sure that you're really dialing in your supplement routine and that you, around the holidays, in the weeks and days between the holidays, are being intentional with your nutrition. Your nutrition is the building blocks of your body. It's what creates your cells. And when we look at supporting our immune system, we really need to make sure that we're getting an array of nutrients from our foods and that we're filling any gaps with supplements as needed. So using what you have to actually support your body to power through this season where a lot of people are sick, a lot of kids are getting sick in school and bringing things home from school. And the combination of that, along with travel and being exposed to more people over the holidays, will necessitate being more intentional about your routines that support your immune health. This is, incorporating high levels of vitamin C through vegetable and fruit intake, supplementation as needed, incorporating a high quality greens drink to support your overall nutrition and to fill in any of those gaps, incorporating things like zinc and trace minerals, echinacea, elderberry, things that are going to really boost and support your immune system as you're exposed to more people. And in terms of respiratory illnesses, if you have access to things like a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, now would be a great time to use it. Also, if you are someone who smokes, limiting that at this time, whether it's, marijuana, switching to more like edibles, if that's something that you feel like is important to your life. If you're smoking cigarettes, are there other options? Are there chewable nicotine options? Thinking about just supporting your body in the most realistic and sustainable way as possible. Saying, I'm going to cut out everything right now is usually too drastic of a step and not sustainable, and actually overcommitting and then um, underperforming can lead to more disempowerment in the short and long term, which causes us to forego our goals and delay them even longer. So saying, okay, this is where I'm at. What would be the next step for someone who smokes and wants to support their respiratory health through the winter months? Now would be a good time to look at other options for getting in those quote supplements, unquote, that may not be as damaging and as compromising to your respiratory system. Another thing to consider when it comes to the winter and it being colder in general is, although the cold is fantastic for inflammation, it may be a great time to actually get outside in the cold and expose your body to those temperatures, which can be excellent for regulating our nervous system, for reducing inflammation in the body overall, and can actually be really beneficial for supporting healthy aging. One thing to consider is if you are doing movement outside, or if you are getting into the gym after a day of sitting or after a day of spending time outside, making sure that you're really attending to your mobility work and warm up routines is very important. For those of us who have like pre-existing joint injuries, arthritis, or joint replacements, the cold can be a big trigger. Even if you have like autoimmune diseases, this may also be a trigger for you. So making sure that you're implementing strategies that really mobilize your tissue, stimulate blood flow, and get your joints extremely warm and that synovial fluid moving before you get into your training to prevent injuries is going to be absolutely, absolutely important throughout this time. So stay tuned. I'll be posting a mobility routine that I like doing. For me, mobility becomes even more important in the winter because I can feel that my body in general feels a little bit tighter and my joints take a little bit longer to warm up. And wanting to be extremely efficient and to dive right into my workout when I get into the gym, my 10-minute mobility routine makes a massive difference so that I can jump into my workout and not have to worry about injury each time I get in the gym. If you are someone who loves outdoor movement, the winter time can be really challenging because moving to the indoors can be frustrating. It can be difficult to spend a lot of time around people if you're used to doing your workouts in a more isolated state outside. So for some people, the gym doesn't feel like a very positive or inviting environment. So finding other ways to move that feel more positive for you are important during this time. Again, you have to look at what's going to be the most realistic and sustainable for you, and maybe what it looks like to have goals in the winter versus goals at other times of the year. An example of this would maybe be to look into classes near you, with the winter being a time to perhaps slow down and reflect and start to plant seeds for the season ahead. Maybe now's the time to incorporate some yoga or Pilates classes, or to look into functional fitness classes, things that are going to help you feel motivated, keep that energy up, especially during these colder, darker months when our energy starts to backslide a bit. And then you can re-implement the outdoor activities when you're able to do so. Alternatively, if you're used to doing cardio outside, moving to indoor modalities is another option. This could be a time to ask for an exercise bike for Christmas, or, take advantage of Cyber Monday sales to do so, or to set up a new routine where you're going to the gym in the morning to move to make sure that you're getting your cardio in even when you're not able to do so outside. If you're someone who has a step goal, as I like to have, going to places like the mall, or other, museums or indoor areas that have quite a bit of room will give you opportunities to get steps in when you're maybe not able to do so outside. Just keep in mind that taking your steps at the mall may require a little bit more willpower in regards to not spending more money, and or you can couple this with your Christmas shopping. So do with that as you will. Adjusting to the changes in the winter can be challenging, especially for those of us who struggle with mood and tend to feel a little bit low in the winter. But setting positive intentions and setting goals that are specific to the season can really help uproot the fear and worry that can come with the anticipation of the downslide that can happen during those months, and also set you up more positively for the year ahead so that you're not waiting for New Year's to kick things off, but already starting to implement the changes that you're going to need to sustain in order to progress towards those goals that you set for the year ahead. I would love to hear what your winter arc consists of. As we move into this last month of the year, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish? How do you want to cap off this year on the planet? What's important to you? What needs to go? What needs to be added to your routine? What needs to be adjusted flexibly in accordance to the seasons? What do you notice about your body that's different in the winter versus other seasons? What do you notice about your heart and mind? What habits tend to slip around the holidays? Starting to really ask yourself these questions with compassion and objectivity will allow you to move forward with intentionality throughout the end of the year and into the new year, so that you can finish the year with pride and start the new year with excitement for what's ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. As always, you can listen to this on Spotify or Apple iTunes, or watch on YouTube if you want to see my face. You can also follow me on Instagram for more tips and tricks for your winter arc and how to keep your body mobile through the winter seasons, and for more content on training and nutrition ahead. I hope you guys have a fantastic start to the month, the last month of the year, and I'm excited to hear how you incorporate intentional activity and adjust your routine in order to align with the seasons. I'll catch you next time on Time Under Tension.